Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Andrea Worley. I have a lifestyle channel here on YouTube. If this is your first time watching, welcome. I'm so glad you guys are here. If you are a returning subscriber, I'm so glad you guys are back and clicking on this video. Okay, so I posted on Instagram. By the way, if you're not following me on Instagram, you need to jump on over there, click the follow button and follow me. But a few weeks ago, I posted on Instagram and I asked the question if anyone would be interested in hearing how I have made money online selling stuff online, selling gently used clothing, and shoes and accessories, and everybody voted yes. So today, that's what we're gonna talk about in this video. So let's jump into it. So I started selling stuff online and I've done it a few different ways, but today I'm specifically going to talk about the two ways that I have been successful and been able to make money online. I will tell you that I have been doing this probably for about a year now, and so I have made probably around $2,000 doing this. So not a lot of money in a year, but a good amount of money to supplement and diversify my income a little bit more and just have like another stream of income coming in. And so what I do is I use two apps. I use the Poshmark app and the Kidson app. And those are two apps that you can download from your phone. I will leave information on these apps in the description box below, but I use those two apps. This is not a sponsored video. This is not sponsored by any of those companies. I just want to share with you guys the two apps and the ways of how I have found that you can sell your stuff online and make a little bit of extra money. So I use those two apps. Both of those apps take a percentage from what you sell. The Poshmark app takes a little bit more of a percentage of your commission than the Kidson app. Kidson is specifically for gently used or brand new kids items. So if you go on Kidson, there's gonna be kids clothing, shoes, accessories, Halloween costumes, toys, books. I mean, literally anything and everything that you could think of that you could resell for your kid. Poshmark does have a women's, men's, kids, different categories that you can categorize things. So Poshmark is a little bit bigger and broader. I would say that Poshmark is probably the one that you might most be familiar with or that you've heard about. And so I have tried to resell my stuff. Like I've created a specific Instagram account before and tried to sell my stuff. I've tried to sell stuff on the Facebook marketplace before, and I just wasn't successful at that, or what I would consider successful in the sense of things just weren't selling. So, but once I started selling on Poshmark and Kidson, I started selling stuff like crazy. And now today, I probably ship out 1 to 2 items a week from my Poshmark store and my Kidson store. So that's what I want to talk to you guys about today. So if you're looking for a way to sell your stuff online and make a little extra money, I highly suggest downloading those two apps. They're free to download. Start looking around. And so I'm going to kind of talk about the pros and cons about each of those real quick, and then I'll jump into kind of 5 tips that I have as a seller for you to be successful. So first of all, let's talk about the pros and cons of selling on Poshmark. I think one of the pros about selling on Poshmark is that Poshmark has a wide audience. So a lot of people are going to see your items, that you can search just about anything on there by brand, type, style, color, just price. You can search anything, and there's a lot of users on Poshmark, therefore giving your items a ton of exposure. I will say that both of these apps, Poshmark and Kidson, offer you the ability to purchase the shipping label right there through the app. When you sell on Poshmark, it automatically charges a set shipping fee. You don't get to choose that as the seller. Poshmark has a flat fee for all the items. And when something sells of yours on Poshmark, you will get an email and then you will get a link to print off a shipping label. That is a pro because you don't have to worry about going to the post office, weighing packages, all that kind of stuff. It is amazing. So one of the things that I love about Poshmark is that they ship, every package is shipped USPS priority shipping. So you can go into the post office and get all kinds of priority shipping materials there. They usually are at the front of the post office for free. So that is huge because it cuts down your, costs on materials that you need to buy, and it's just a great resource that you can do that for free. So I do like that about Poshmark. Like I said, a con is that Poshmark does take a very large percentage. I think it's like 20%. And so at first when I started selling on Poshmark, that was kind of a bummer, but I'll talk about that a little bit later when I talk about the 5 tips for selling and being successful. So what I love about Poshmark, wide audience, there's a lot of people on there using it. Shipping labels come directly to you when an item ships. Everything ships priority, so you can get those free shipping materials, package your item up, and just send it on its way. How Poshmark works, once you make a sale, you package everything up, you ship it out. When the buyer receives it, they have 3 days to inspect the item and make sure it fits the description that you said that it did, and they have either to accept the package or decline the package and return it. So I'll kind of get into this a little bit more in the tips, but that's kind of how the process works. And so once your buyer accepts your item on Poshmark, then they release your funds to your Poshmark account. And those funds sit in kind of a holding, if you will, until you cash them out to your bank account. So the only con with Poshmark is that I wish that they would give you an option to either cash it out to your bank account or cash it out to PayPal, but usually they don't. They only give you one option, which is to cash it to your bank account, and it usually takes around 6 days. So I guess the con in that is that you really have to, if you're gonna cash out funds, time it accordingly because it's going to take 6 days to hit your bank account from the time that you cash it out. So your money is not readily available, but it does sit in your Poshmark bank, if you will, and you can also use that money to then purchase things off of Poshmark yourself, or you can cash it out to your bank account, like I said. The other thing that's really great about the Poshmark selling on Poshmark is that as a seller, you can offer private discounts to potential buyers that have liked your items. So that's a really great feature. You can also, if there's a person who's liked a lot of items from your closet, you can offer them a bundled discount. There's a lot of really great seller features that Poshmark has available to you. So that's a little bit about selling specifically on Poshmark. So let's talk a little bit about selling on Kitson. Like I said, Kitson is specifically for children's clothing and accessories and toys and all kid-related stuff. So Kitson does take a smaller percentage of your sales. So that's one of the reasons I do like selling my gently used kids item on that site, is that it takes a smaller percentage than, say, Poshmark. So that's why I use both of them, because I sell a lot of my stuff on Poshmark and all of my kids' stuff. Like if I have some stuff of my kids, I sell that on Kitson because it's a lower percentage. So let's talk about the things that I like about selling on Kitson. Again, a good audience of people. I think Kitson is still fairly new. People are just now starting to catch on, and they've made a lot of updates to the app from when I first started selling. So a lot of the things that I didn't like, they are now improving, which is way better as a seller. One of the things that I don't like about Kidson is I will say that when you sell an item on Kidson, you need to decide whether or not you as the seller want to cover the shipping or you want your buyer to cover the shipping. Now versus Poshmark, all buyers pay for their own shipping. But on Kidson, you have the choice of whether to offer your buyer free shipping or make them pay for shipping. But it's not free to you as a seller. So when you sell something on Kidson that you have given a buyer free shipping for, say, then you get a notification and you need to then go purchase a shipping label. So that's kind of one of my like cons that I don't like about selling on Kidson. Like I said, I get over it because I have found that things do sell pretty well on Kidson for kid stuff. A lot of my kid stuff doesn't sell very well on Poshmark, and that's why I have the two different apps. So with Kidson, when you make a sale, you get an email and then you have to choose your package size, and shipping starts for you as a seller at $3.75 and goes up from there. So then your shipping costs are then taken from your overall commission costs. So let's say you sell something for $5 on Kidson and it costs $3.75 to ship it. They will take that out of your $5 earnings, and then they will put the rest, the difference, in your Kidson bank, if you will. One of the things that I do like about Kidson is once your item is scanned into the post office, you automatically receive your commissions, your funds. You don't have to wait for your buyer to get the package and inspect it and accept or decline it. Your funds are automatically deposited into your Kidson bank. And the other thing that I like about Kidson that Poshmark doesn't do is they do offer either to cash it out at your bank or PayPal, and it's instant. When I cash out my earnings from Kidson, I usually cash them out to my PayPal account because it's free, and they're there within an hour. So with Kidson, the pro is that you automatically, within an hour, have access to your funds via your PayPal account, which I like because I have a PayPal account. I also have a PayPal business account, which comes with a debit card. So those, I don't have to wait 6 days for it to hit my bank. It's instantly there within an hour. So I do really, really like that. Okay. So now that I've kind of talked about both apps and the pros and cons, let's get into my 5 tips for selling your stuff online and being successful. These are in like no particular order. So number 1, sell stuff that is in good condition. I have been a buyer on Poshmark and Kidson before, and the reality is I really feel like selling your stuff online is not for stuff that is broken, ripped, terrible condition. If you want to resell your stuff, find the best stuff that you can that's in good condition. Otherwise, have a garage sale, because I just don't think that these Kidson and Poshmark are reserved for just stuff that is in good condition. In my opinion, I have had the most success selling stuff that is gently used or brand new that's in good condition, because people that are on these apps, they're wanting a deal. They're wanting to find a deal or something that's rare or something that's out of stock that they loved. And you don't want to purchase something. You don't want to look through a bunch of listings that are just crap stuff in not good condition, in my opinion. Okay, so number 2, research your pricing. I cannot stress this enough. As a buyer and a seller, there have been so many times when I have seen multiple of the same item listed by different sellers for different prices. On Poshmark, there's a lot of vintage things. I see a lot of vintage handbags, a lot of vintage designer handbags, a lot of accessories and clothes and different things. And here's the deal. You can't sell, say there's an item that's a J. Crew item. I see a lot of sellers who jack up the price just because it's J. Crew or X brand, insert a brand name. And it could be something that J. Crew sold 4 years ago, 2 years ago, and I see people selling it for practically full retail price. In my opinion, you cannot sell something that is at least 2 seasons old for a full retail price. Because like I said, people are coming to these apps for deals. They're coming to hunt and find good items at a great price. And so if you have a handbag, go on Poshmark and see what other sellers are listing that handbag for, because if you post your handbag for $100 and another seller posts the same handbag for $50, who do you think is going to sell first? Let's say they're the exact same handbag in the exact same condition. Which bag do you think is going to sell first? Probably the one with the lower pricing is going to sell first versus the one that's more. So that's why I say it's really important for you to research your pricing, know what you're selling, kind of know if you have a vintage bag, know what brand names are selling for on those sites so that you can price it accordingly to sell, because that's the whole deal. You want to sell these items fast. You don't want to list these Poshmark items in your Poshmark store on Kitson and just have them sit there. So research your pricing, make sure it's on par with similar or like items, and price it accordingly. Number 3, keep your costs low. So what I mean by that is, like, this goes back to the shipping. Selling on Poshmark, you can go to the post office and for free pick up the priority mailing envelopes, boxes, mailers, and they're free. So you can walk into the post office and you can take as much as you want. Keep it in your garage. That's where I keep mine. Or if you have a place in your house that you want to keep them in there. But keep your costs low. Don't spend a lot of money on shipping products or shipping supplies, because if you sell on Poshmark, you can literally go into the post office and get all of the shipping, like boxes to put your stuff in, and keep your costs really low. Because if you're doing this as like a side hustle or just like an extra stream of income to diversify your income, you want to keep your costs low so that you're actually making money, right? Because you already have to take into consideration that Poshmark and Kitson are going to take a fee for listing. That's how they make their money. So keep your costs low. Number 4. So number 4, take good pictures and disclose everything. I will tell you, as a seller, there have been times where I didn't disclose everything, not to try to hide anything, but just because I didn't know. I didn't know the information about the item. And so check the tags on your items, disclose the material that it's made of, disclose the dimensions, disclose the size, disclose if your item has a stain on it, take a picture of the stain and disclose that. Put in every listing that you post has a description, and that is your opportunity to disclose everything that you can to the buyer, because especially with Kitson, like I said, when your buyer gets that item, they have 3 days to inspect it and make sure that what you said in the listing matches what they're getting in the mail. And so disclose everything. Where I got into trouble with this was there was a leather bag that I sold that I just put in the description. I didn't even say that it was leather. And when the person got it, they saw that it was faux leather, and they thought that it was leather just from the pictures and the title that I gave, even though I didn't say that it was faux or real. They thought that it was leather just based on the look, and they ended up returning it because they realized that it was faux leather and they were looking for a real, genuine leather bag. So that wasn't necessarily my fault, like I said, in the way that I just didn't know what it was. I was just like, okay, bag for sale, satchel for sale, or whatever. But I should have done my research, and I should have put in the listing whether it was a faux leather bag or a genuine leather bag. So I learned my mistake to disclose everything and take really good pictures and to research your item. So if there's any advice I can offer you, is just to research the heck out of your item, disclose everything so that you can have the best listing possible. And then number 5 is ship your packages well. I really like to think of my Poshmark store and my Kitson store as like my own little boutique, you know? And if you've ever gotten a package in the mail from anywhere, you love receiving a really well packaged, beautiful thing in the mail. So I always go and purchase tissue paper from the dollar store. You can get like a huge pack of like 100 sheets of tissue paper for $1. And so I always include a business card. You don't have to, but I have a business card for my beauty counter business. So I always include that. And then I include a thank you note. You're gonna know your buyer's first name. And so I always include like, "Dear Sally, thank you for shopping my Poshmark store. Hope you enjoy this item. Love, Andrea." And I put a thank you note in the package. I wrap it all up with tissue paper and ship it off. So when that buyer gets that package in the mail, it looks well loved and cared for, and it just feels really special. I know that I have shopped on Poshmark before, and I have gotten some really great packages in the mail with cute notes, and they're really packaged pretty, and it just is a little something extra special for your buyer. And I think when you package your packages well and take good care of them, your buyer, every buyer, especially, well, both of them on Kitson and Poshmark, your buyer has the opportunity to give you a rating and give you feedback. And this is one of the ways that you can please your buyer and get a good rating on both of those apps. And you want that good rating because, especially on Poshmark, if you get good ratings, it jacks you up into like different seller brackets. And so you're gonna get featured more the higher of a seller that you are rated. So that's just my tips for you guys of how you can sell online and make a little bit of extra money. I hope that this was helpful for you guys. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up. Check out the description box below. I'll have information for both these apps that I talked about, and I will put in the description box the list of these tips just so if you want to reference them. And thanks for watching this video, and I hope you guys found it helpful, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.